your name. Hello, hello, do you need me before I fade away? Is this a place that I call home to find what I've become? Walk along the path unknown. We live, we love, we lie. Deep in the dark, I don't need the light. There's a ghost inside me. It all belongs to the other side. We live, we love, we lie. Hello, hello, nice to meet your voice inside my head. Hello, hello, I believe you. How can I forget? Is this a place that I call home to find what I've become? Walk along the path unknown. We live, we love, we lie. Deep in the dark, I don't need the light. There's a ghost inside me. It all belongs to the other side. We live, we love, we lie. We live, we love, we lie. Hello, hello. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.
Accidentally Alright, since there's not really anybody in the stream, I'm gonna make this stream a video, so whatever you say in chat will be on the video I make. This stream will be a video. And if it's not, then I disappointed you guys. We are going to be reacting to the Gorebox Files. A community overview. Actually, let me just do it like this. Give me a second. Let me just get the intro, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay. Hello, everybody. In today's video and stream, we're going to be reacting to the Gorebox Files, a community overview. And then, yep, go subscribe to Voltronized. Like the video and my video. You can watch the original over at Voltronized Gorebox channel. But yeah, let's get started. Why is there a buffer always at this? There's always a buffer here.
A 14-year-old Singaporean student has been dealt with under the Internal Security Act. He began posting pro-ISIS material online, including videos created using gameplay from platforms Roblox and Gorebox.
What?
Mason does stuff. Mason was a known Gorebox YouTuber and
He's
once
a
beloved.
Weird dude.
That was until someone called Greenex called him out for sexually abusing his dog.
He's a weird dog.
Which is yesterday, a group of random people decided to confront Jeeper and Buster for some unknown reason, just to get bullied by Jeeper. What an oopsie-daisy surprise.
W intro. Holy. W in the chat. I might have some sour rings.
The Gorebox community. Where do I even begin?
Oh,
The
no.
controversies, the dramas, the weird power dynamics, the stuff that happens completely out of nowhere. I have never seen a community like this one.
Neither have I.
And I want to be clear, I am not saying...
I used to be in the Melon Playground community. The Melon Playground was magnificent. I loved it. When I went to Gorebox, it went crumbling down. Like what? I thought, when I played Gorebox, I thought I would have fun. And not a community filled with trollers, hackers, and people that genuinely just break the rules and don't get banned. And ban evaders. It's so easy to ban evade. They need to fix it. But, obviously, GDev's not doing anything, so who cares? Right? Ugh.
Saying this as some random outsider looking in. I have been here. I have talked to people on every side of
And racist people.
every wall in this community. I have seen things that made me go, wait, that actually happened. More times than I can count.
Now I know what some of you are already thinking. Every community has drama. What makes Gorebox special? And fair point. Every community has its problems. I have seen the Roblox community do its thing. I have seen the Minecraft community doing its thing. I have heard things about Blue Archive that I genuinely do not want to verify. But here is the thing about Gorebox that separates it from all of those. Those communities are big. Like, massive. When something goes wrong there, it almost makes sense just from a numbers perspective. However, Gorebox is not that. Gorebox is a relatively small, niche game with a relatively small community, and yet somehow this community has made it onto the news. Not.
I didn't even know that. Wait, I'm gonna translate that. What does that say? A teenager who attacked a school. The teenager who attacked a school. In Gorebox created maps of Mosquito's games and what the fuck is that? I don't know what it's saying, bruh. It's weird.
Not once, twice, maybe more.
Twice?
I found out about this the same way Hank from Breaking Bad found out who Heisenberg was. And with the recent exodus of Gorebox developers, now is the time to look into this place, what has happened in it, and why I think it matters enough to talk about.
Intro! That's the intro! 2 minutes? The intro even goes on for a little bit more. That's the intro? That's the intro? Ain't no way. I can't believe it. I agree with
This
that.
community has a lot of them, and I mean a lot. I have personally...
I'm in drama as well. No joke. I think I'm still in drama. I've had a few dramas. Some of them I will name, some of them I won't. I had a few dramas with Jimmy Gore. I have a current ongoing drama going on with Icy and all the others. Same for Alarm and BX Dev. We have drama. Yeah, a lot of others.
Witnessed, or at least heard of, more exposures, callouts, and public meltdowns in this one community than I have in spaces 10 times its size. There's people like Mason.
Mason, go!
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? Where are they brought?
I don't know anything about any numbers.
What about
Cherryman, Peter Plays, Green X, which for that one specifically, I was the one who made the video. So, yeah. And my honest feelings about all of it is mixed. Genuinely mixed. Not in a diplomatic both sides kind of way. More like I am tired. Like you see a new exposed video, and your first reaction is not curiosity or concern. It is just, oh, again, I guess that happens. Because here is the thing. Some of these exposures are completely valid. There are people in this community who have done genuinely awful things.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, Mason, bad person. Then there's a bunch of others that nobody has uncovered.
And the community holding them accountable for that is fine. That is how it should work. But then there are exposures that make absolutely no sense, where someone got targeted not because they did something diabolically bad, but because a specific person did not like them and decided to weaponize an audience to take them down. And those two things are being treated like they are the same thing, and they are absolutely not. Here is the part that might be controversial. You can absolutely expose someone for saying something deeply offensive, the hard R, whatever else. But if the person making that video, and half the people cheering in the comments, have said the exact same thing at some point, then what the fuck are we actually doing here? And that is genuinely my biggest issue with how exposed culture works in this community specifically. Most of these videos are not made in the spirit of justice. They are made by someone who hated a person so much that they collected every piece of evidence they could find and threw it all at the wall hoping something would stick and the person would lose their platform. And the irony that I keep coming back to is that a lot of the people making these expose videos have their own history, which I will get into way later when I talk about the GDev and BXDev situation specifically. Because that one is a whole conversation on its own. But the cumulative effect of all of this is that expose videos have...
By the way, guys, the only reason why I'm watching this video is because Gator gave me the link to this video, WGator in the chat.
lost basically all of their weight in this community. There have been so many of them that when someone gets exposed now, the reaction is not shock or outrage. It is just, ooh, that person got exposed, and then people move on within a week. The format has been so overused that it barely means anything anymore. And ever since the Green X video came out, people started coming to me asking me to expose other people, and my answer every single time has been no. I am done with that. If you have evidence on someone and you think the community needs to know, that is your responsibility to act on, not mine. You are not coming to me because you think I am the most qualified person to handle it fairly. You are coming to me because I have an audience and you want to use it. And I want to give you a real example of how low this bar has gotten. Someone actually came to me and asked me to expose a content creator because they killed a fish on camera. A fish.
What the fuck?
They wanted me to make a full video, go after this person, take them down, the whole thing, over a fish. And I sat there reading those messages thinking, firstly, I eat fish, so I am not really sure where that leaves me morally. But more importantly, this is what it has come to. Someone genuinely thought that the right response to a content creator killing a fish...
That looks like a pet fish, though. Doesn't look like the fish you find in the water. It's a pet fish.
Was to,
because it has a... I don't know. Sorry.
To mobilize an audience against them and end their platform. That is the bar now. That is where exposed culture in this community has landed.
Kids are playing this game. That's true. Don't look at me.
Okay, so this one I genuinely debated including. I did not want to come across as some concerned parent type pointing at a screen going, think of the children. But ignoring it completely would just be dishonest. So here we are. Kids are playing Gorebox, and they are actively in the community. In the Discord servers, in the YouTube comments. And look, I know kids have always found their way into games that were never made for them. Kids play GTA. Kids play Call of Duty. That is literally nothing new. But the difference with Gorebox is not really the game itself, it is the community that surrounds it. And if you have been paying attention to anything I said earlier in this video, you already know that community is not exactly a safe place to grow up in.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, F2 has actually done some things right on this front. Despite my issues with their moderation, and yes, I will get into the server situation later, I can at least acknowledge that they have investigated and banned people from their Discord when it was necessary. That counts for something. But there is only so much a developer can control. Everything outside of the official spaces, the random servers, the comment sections, the DMs, that is completely outside their reach. And you do not even have to take my word for it. Go to any Gorebox video on YouTube right now and just look at the comments. You will find actual kids in there, which tells you a lot about who the mobile player base really is. My honest guess is that the majority of mobile players are under 13, and that might even be generous.
Oh my lord.
Now here's where I have to be honest about...
These are genuinely fetuses. These are toddlers.
That's something kind of ironic. I am not one of those YouTubers who loves kids. I am not a Minecraft YouTuber. I am genuinely not great with children, and most of the ones I have encountered online are honestly just really annoying, especially with how the current generation of kids behaves online. So the fact that I am sitting here making a point about children in a Gorebox video is already pretty funny to me. But that is kind of exactly why I want to be clear about where I am coming from. I am not a concerned...
Was it? Remember you said that you would watch... Okay, fuck off.
...politician trying to push some surveillance bill under the excuse of protecting kids. Those people use children as an excuse to control things that have nothing to do with child safety, and it is annoying every time. I am also not your parent, and it is not my job to be. That responsibility sits entirely with the people who actually chose to have kids. This is genuinely just me saying that this specific community with everything I've already described in this video, is not a good place for someone who is still growing up to be spending their time. Not because I care deeply about children as a concept, but because it is just the honest truth, and it would feel weird to not say it. Most of the blame here lands on parents. If your kid is running around unsupervised in online communities, that is a parenting issue more than a Gorebox issue. So if you are a kid watching this right now, I am being completely sincere. Get out of here. Okay, this one is a nitpick. I own that fully. This is me being petty. You have been warned.
Oh, flashing lights?
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting something to change. That is crazy. The first time someone pointed that out to me, I thought they were just being dramatic. And then I opened YouTube and searched Gorebox. New weapon leaked. New map coming soon. Update dropped here is everything in it. New weapon leaked. New map coming soon. Update dropped here is everything in it. New weapon leaked. New map coming soon. Update dropped here is everything. Oh, for fuck's sake.
You are looking at me. Okay? You have a fucking problem in your head. You think I'm bullshitting you? Do you think I'm lying? Fuck you! Okay? Fuck you!
I see it everywhere I look. Every single time I open this side of YouTube, I see the exact same thing being done over and over and over again. And every single time these people are sitting there thinking, this time is gonna be different. No, it is not. It is the same video. It has always been the same video. It will always be the same video. And, okay. I need to be fair here because I know why this happens. It works. Views come in, I get it. Here is the actual thing that makes me want to lose my mind a little. When that format becomes basically everything on the Gorebox side of YouTube, it starts to suffocate anything else trying to exist in the same space. You want to make something creative, something that took actual...
Banning iPad kids? No, making updates.
effort and thought and time, good luck. There are exceptions, and I want to be clear about that because I am not just here to complain without acknowledging what is actually good. Falvin and Josh are doing update content that is genuinely well produced and engaging. Like, actually good.
How far are we in this video? 13 minutes.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, fuck you!
Desensitized.
You know that scene in BlacKkKlansman where Ron Stallworth is on the phone with the actual KKK,
Whoa.
pretending to be one of them, just casually spouting the most unhinged racist stuff you have ever heard?
Since you asked, I hate niggers. I hate
What?
Jews. Spits and mix. Dagos and chinks. But my mouth to God's ears, I really hate those nigger rats. And anyone else really that doesn't have pure white Aryan blood running through their veins. My sister, Thelma. She was just recently accosted by one of those black coons. Just so, yeah.
And the whole joke is that he is a black man doing this, and the KKK guys on the other end have absolutely no idea. It is kind of funny in a deeply uncomfortable way. The humor comes entirely from how absurd it is that these people just accepted it without question because the language was familiar to them. Because that was just how they talked, completely normalized. I think about that scene a lot when I look at
Yo.
the Gorebox community. Not because anyone here is the KKK, but because that same energy of complete normalization is everywhere in this space. All of it has been said, and shared and recreated so many times that nobody even flinches anymore. It is just the water these people swim in. The joke works because it is punching at something. It is using the language of hatred to expose the people who built that language in the first place. Here's the thing about dark humor. Dark humor has always existed, and it has always been transgressive by design. The whole argument for it is that nothing is off limits. Laughter is sometimes the only honest response to how terrible things actually are, and I do not entirely disagree with that. But there is a line, and I think the line is not really about subject matter at all, to be honest. It is direction, what the joke is actually doing, and who it is actually aimed at. There was a school attack in Russia, and I went and looked at how parts of this community responded to it.
A Russian guy in school carried out a terrorist attack, came with a couple severed students, and he also made his school maps and Gorbox provision in case of such tragedy with Gorbox involved. With this said, if you're doing, if anything, or feeling mentally stable, confident enough to talk about your problems with a person you trust or whatever, wellness hotline in your country, but it's never the result of taking others' lives. Take care, everyone. Peak watch. Gorbox now involved in yet another school terrorist attack. Fucking mean, Pack Watch. Is this something to celebrate? Yeah, because it happened to Russian kids. Amazing. Kill them all. What the fuck?
Comments saying all Russian kids should die, not from people who were genuinely evil necessarily, just from people who had scrolled past so much of this content for so long that their ability to recognize a real tragedy had just completely switched off. And then it actually made the news again. A kid in Singapore got caught making ISIS recruitment content inside Gorbox. At this point, I'm just questioning myself.
So, why does this keep happening? Why does this specific game, with this specific community, keep producing this specific type of content and this specific type of person? And the most obvious answer to why this keeps happening has been sitting right there the entire time. The game is called Gorebox. I mean, it's already obvious enough. The internet was supposed to be the great equalizer, the place where information flows freely, where anyone can say anything, where the truth cannot be suppressed because it lives everywhere at once. And that is true. After a while, you cannot tell the difference between a joke and a threat, between irony and sincerity, between someone who is performing edginess and someone who actually means it. The signal and the noise start to look identical. And the scary part is not the people who are genuinely radicalized. The scary part is everyone in between. The people who are not radicalized but have just been so thoroughly marinated in this content for so long that their reactions have been quietly recalibrated without them even noticing. There could be a chance they do not think those kids deserve to die. They just typed it because it felt like the thing to type.
Crazy, bro. Chapter 5. Hackers. Death of machines. What?
Videos made inside a game trying to be an actual movie or a series. That was a thing in Gorebox for a while, and then it died. But before I get into that, I want to talk about Gary's mod. People made genuinely incredible things with it. Gmod machinimas never died. They mutated. Every time the format felt stale, someone found a new way to push it. Every time one creator stopped, another one picked it up. No single person owned it. It belonged to everyone. Gorebox never got that. There was a version of Gorebox Machinimas that was genuinely trying to be something good. And for a while, people were making them. And then Ballcat left. Do you guys even remember Ballcat? He made Escape from Gorebox one of the most ambitious things anyone had tried in this community. And the community constantly devalued him for it until eventually he was just gone. The genre stopped existing basically after he left. And here is the part where I have to be honest, it was my fault. I made a review video on his series, he allowed it, told me I could go wild with it, and I did. Not because I genuinely thought his content was bad, but out of pure petty competition for a series, I was not even going to continue making myself. I knocked out someone who was not even really a competitor. That is the actual reason. He told me straight up that he left because of me, because when I went against him, he saw it as the whole community going against him. At that point, I was the loudest voice in the room, and when I spoke, people agreed. When I criticized something, people piled on. He told me I killed the creative side of Gorebox. He is not wrong. What I failed to understand is that competition creates content. Ballcat being there was good for the space because it pushed other people to try. When I removed him, I got rid of the creative energy that competition was generating. Everyone else looked at what happened and decided they did not want to end up the same way, so they just stopped. That is the difference between Gmod and Gorebox right there. Gmod was too big and too decentralized for any one person to function as a kill switch. Gorebox was small enough that it was not, and I pulled that switch without even realizing it existed. The desire to make something does not go away just because the environment stops supporting it. That is one of the few consistent things about human beings across all of history. People make things. They always have. Paintings, histories, songs passed down through generations that nobody ever wrote down. The impulse to create something and leave it somewhere where another person might find it and feel something is so deeply embedded in what people are that it survives almost everything. Somewhere in this community right now, there is probably someone who wants to make a series. A story told inside a sandbox. And whether they actually do it depends entirely on what kind of community this is going to be going forward. Gmod answered that question well. Gorebox has not yet, but it does not mean it never will.
Oh, moderation. Moderation sucks.
Please leave your message for 213.
Okay, so this one is personal. I'm going to try my best to stay neutral here, but I also want to be upfront that I have been directly involved in some of this stuff. So take that as you will. The F2 Games Discord server, the official server for Gorebox. This is the place that is supposed to represent the game and the community around it. So let me just tell you what happened. I got permanently warned for talking about a specific content creator and what they did. Just talking about it. That was enough to get me permanently warned. Meanwhile, in that same server, people were posting Charlie Kirk memes, Epstein jokes. There was even one person who went on a whole rant about how immature and unmoderated the chat was, and then immediately started talking about porn in the same channel right after, like within minutes. Now the warn, I got stayed permanent even after the server rules were changed to make warns temporary across the board. I genuinely do not think it is ever getting removed. The thing that surprised me the most, though, was finding out that the developers themselves apparently have limited control over what happens in their own server. The moderation team operates pretty independently from the actual development side of things. There was a situation where someone with an overseer role unbanned me at some point, and then one of the mods assumed a developer had done it without authorization and just rebanned me immediately. Which kind of explains what happened next. The server got raided.
Damn.
The official statement that came out afterward confirmed it. It's the former server staff leadership. They deliberately sabotaged the server in retaliation for losing their position.
Yeah, so basically when multiplayer went down, one of the moderators in the Discord server, because since they couldn't do anything in Gorebox multiplayer, they retaliated and fought the Discord server and porn raided it, I think.
After some internal changes were made. When I heard about it, I was not even that surprised, honestly. And I think that...
Neither was I. Someone, like, I think Gator or somebody else told me about it. But I know someone told me. It was either Gator or someone else.
Reaction says
most likely Gator, though.
More about the state of that server than anything else I could tell you. When you find out something like that happened and your first thought is, yeah, that tracks. Baseball, huh? It probably means things have been pointing in that direction for a while.
The X7 GDev situation. Hope that's not your house.
You ever play Far Cry 2? Not the one with the guy everyone quotes. The other one. You are a mercenary dropped into an unnamed African country in the middle of a civil war between two factions, the APR and the UFLL.
This is Liberation Radio, speaking the truth for the truth seekers. And the truth is that your country needs you. Beware the evil APR scourge.
And within the first few hours, the game makes something clear that it never lets you forget. Both of them are identical. The war is the economy. The conflict keeps both of them fed, and neither of them has any real interest in it ending, because ending it would mean becoming irrelevant. You spend the whole game telling yourself that one side must be better, that there has to be a lesser evil somewhere in here worth backing. The thing is, there is no side. I think about that game a lot when I think about how human beings have always organized conflict. Pick any war in the last 100 years and give it enough time, and the lines between the righteous side and the other side start to blur in ways that nobody wants to acknowledge while the conflict is still going. The allies of one decade become the enemies of the next. The freedom fighters get into power and start doing the exact thing they were fighting against. The politician who built a career on cleaning up corruption turns out to have been running his own operation the whole time. It happens so consistently and so predictably that at some point you have to stop being surprised by it and start just accounting for it as a feature of how power actually works rather than an exception.
Damn.
The Jackal is an arms dealer. He is the one selling weapons to both sides simultaneously. And at some point in the game, he found you lying down after a malaria attack and started talking to you and taking a quote from a very old book, Beyond Good and Evil.
You know, there's a book I read a long time ago. Still think.
Hold on, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna work out while watching the video. Give me a second. Alright. Alright, let's go.
Think about it every day. It helps me understand life out here. The book talks about men, about what motivates them. Simple, really. A living being seeks above all else to discharge its strength. Life itself is willed to power. Nothing else matters.
The Jackal is not saying this to justify himself. He is saying it because he has watched enough human conflict up close that he stopped being surprised by any of it. A living being seeks to impose the weight of its own existence onto the space around it. Self-preservation is almost secondary to that deeper compulsion to grow, to control, to be felt by the world. Which is why the APR and the UFLL are the same, because the structure of what they are doing is identical. Two forces projecting their will outward, each one calling the other the obstacle, each one generating enough conflict to justify the next expansion of their own power. I went into this expecting something closer to a clear picture. I talked to people. I spent weeks inside this from multiple angles. I got information from directions I did not expect, and what I ended up with was not a villain and a victim. It was two people who have both done things that are genuinely hard to look at, each using the other as a mirror that only shows the reflection they want to show. I reached out to both of them, offered them both the same thing. Just a straightforward conversation, present your perspective, let the people watching decide for themselves. Both of them declined, and because of that, nothing gets shared. None of it. The rule I set before I reached out was simple, and I am keeping it. Both sides participate or nothing gets used. The moment one person says no, the whole thing stops. That is the only way any of this stays honest. I am not going to present a conclusion I was never qualified to make in the first place. What I will say is that I do not trust either of them. When I say I do not trust either of them, I am not saying that from some elevated position where I get to look down at everyone else in this story. You already know what I did in Chapter 5. I killed an entire creative genre out of envy for a series I was not even going to continue making myself. I used influence carelessly, and someone paid for it. I have been a triple agent in this community, talking to multiple sides simultaneously, gathering information, staying neutral when taking a position might have actually helped someone. I have done things in this community that I am not proud of, and I told you about them directly because I would rather you hear it from me than from someone using it as a weapon later. And believe me, people have tried to use it as a weapon. There was a point where someone told me directly that if I kept going, they would take me down too, that I would go down. The funny thing about that threat is that the person making it thought they had something equivalent to use against me. They did not, and I uploaded anyway, and I am still here, and they are not. The difference between me and the situation I am describing is not that I am a better person, it is just that I told you. I put it in the video. I said it first. I did not wait until someone exposed me to acknowledge it. You can trust whoever you want. That decision is yours. But I would ask you to think about how much of what you believe about anyone in this story, including me, came directly from them. Because that is usually where it starts to get complicated. Wherever this ends up, I hope whatever comes after it is actually worth what it cost to get there. That is all I have.
Okay.
Okay, so after everything I just said across this entire video, I want to be completely straight with you about something. The game is still good. Like, genuinely good. I have put in over 500 hours into Gorebox, and the overwhelming majority of that is single player alone. And it feels important to say that out loud in a video that has spent this long cataloging everything broken about the space surrounding it.
Because here is something I have been thinking about for a long time now. There is this idea, just a feeling that a certain kind of art gives you, where you find something so purely beautiful and so perfectly yours that the world around it stops mattering for a while. You are just in it, whatever it is. A song, a film, a game. And for a moment the noise goes away and there is just the thing itself and you inside it. Gorebox at its best does that for me. The single player, just the physics and the sandbox and the complete absence of anyone else having opinions about what you are building. That version of the game is genuinely untouched by everything I have talked about in this video. The drama does not live there. But here is the tragedy of it. There is a certain kind of story about a community that forms around something beautiful, a piece of music, an artist, an idea, and the community loves the thing so purely at the start that it almost feels sacred. And then slowly, the community stops being about the thing and starts being about itself, the relationships, the hierarchies, the drama, the power dynamics, the way people use the thing as currency for something uglier, and by the end the thing itself is still there, still just as beautiful as it always was, but you can barely see it anymore through everything that has grown up around it.
I can agree with that. Like, the community's fucked, but single player isn't in some way.
There is an album I have been thinking about a lot while making this video, a concept album about a sailor who sails out alone chasing the horizon. The thing that makes the whole record hit the way it does is that the horizon is unreachable by definition. That is literally what a horizon is. You can see it, you can point at it and say, that is where I am going, and then you sail toward it and it moves. It is always exactly as far away as it has always been. You can spend your entire life crossing the ocean toward the horizon and die having never reached it, and the horizon will not have moved an inch. It was never a destination, it was just the shape of the distance between you and the edge of what you could see. I think about that when I think about what it means to be a content creator inside a community like this one. You are always chasing something, more views, more subscribers, more influence, more relevance, and it moves. It always moves. The moment you reach the number you were aiming for, there is a new number. The moment you win the drama cycle, there is a new drama. The moment you become the loudest voice in the room, someone else starts getting louder. And with multiplayer getting removed permanently, the game is becoming a pure single-player experience going forward anyway. Which honestly might be the most quietly correct thing that could have happened to it. Strip away the layer where everyone has to interact and perform and compete, and what you are left with is just the thing itself. So where does that leave you as a player? My honest advice is simple. If you are a normal player who just likes the game, stop interacting with the community entirely. Do not join the Discord. Do not get involved in the drama cycles. Just play the game and leave it at that. The game does not require the community to be enjoyable, and separating the two is probably the healthiest thing you can do.
For content creators, it is more complicated because you need the community to have an audience. That is just the reality of making content around a game. You are at least partially dependent on the community, whether you like it or not. I get that. But even then, I think there is a version of being a Gorebox creator that does not require you to be inside all of this constantly. You can make the content, put it out, and step back. For everyone else, if the community has genuinely made you want to quit the game entirely, just do it. Leave. The game deserves better than the loudest parts of its community, and you probably deserve better too.
There's a man on the horizon. Paradise is just behind him. But if he turns around, it disappears.
The end.
So, here we are. I want to tell you something about this video before I close it out. Something honest. This video is a side quest. I mean it in the very literal sense that my actual life has been running in the background this entire time, and it has been running loud. The world kept moving while I was writing scripts and collecting screenshots and reaching out to developers and trying to figure out how to be fair to people who were not being fair to each other. And I think there is something worth sitting with in that, about what it means to pour real time and real energy into something like this, while your actual life is standing at the door knocking. That sailor I mentioned in the last chapter, the one chasing the horizon, here's the part I did not fully get to say. The album that tells his story opens with a promise, a quiet promise made before the journey even starts, before the sailor has any idea what the ocean is going to cost him, before the storm, before the sea serpent, before the slow hallucinatory acceptance of what he has actually sailed himself into. He makes a promise to someone he is leaving behind, and the promise is simple. I will be there when no one is. And the album ends with him drowning, but the promise was kept. That is the thing the album understands, at least in my view. The sailor did not fail because he drowned. He failed to reach the horizon, but the horizon was never actually the mission. The mission was the promise. The mission was the act of sailing. The mission was the willingness to cross the ocean in the first place, even knowing, on some level, that the ocean does not give things back. Here is what I have been slowly figuring out. I have gone by names I no longer use, made videos I deleted, built things I tore down, come back after swearing I was done, hurt people I should not have hurt, and spent more hours than I can count inside a space that this video has just spent a significant amount of time explaining is genuinely broken in some pretty deep ways. And I am not quitting. I want to be clear about that because I know how a video like this can read. A long critical analysis of a community you have been part of for years, talking about everything wrong with it, discussing stepping back and focusing on real life. It sounds like a goodbye. It is not that kind of goodbye. It is more like, you know, when you have been walking for a very long time and you are not at the destination yet, and you are not going to turn back, but you also need to just stop for a second. Just stop. Sit down on whatever is nearby. That is where I am. The sailor in the album does not turn back. And there is a track on that album, a moment where everything goes quiet and instrumental, and there are no lyrics at all. Just the sound of what it feels like right before you accept something you have been running from. A hallucination of the ending before it arrives. At some point, the person you have been fighting against is yourself, and when you finally stop fighting the silence that follows is almost peaceful. I think I have been fighting myself for a while now. The version of me that wanted to quit. The version of me that wanted to burn everything down and start over. The version of me that wanted to be everyone is speaker, and the version of me that wanted to disappear entirely. All of them pulling in different directions while I kept making videos and deleting videos and coming back and leaving and coming back again. Again, definition of insanity. The album ends in drowning, but it also ends in a loop. The ending was always already in the beginning. And there is something in that structure that I find genuinely comforting rather than bleak, because it means the whole thing was always one continuous thing. Just a story that was always going to end exactly where it ended, with the horizon still on the horizon exactly where it was always going to be. I am 17. I have a life that is beginning to ask real things of me, like university social life. And I am not going to pretend that content creation sits at the same level of importance as those things. It does not. And I have something else in the works. But before I get there, before any of that, I need to just sit here for a second and actually look at what this has been. 3 years. 3 years of this community. 3 years of making things and deleting things and coming back and leaving and coming back again under different names with different ideas about who I was supposed to be. And the whole time the community was there, always there, waiting, watching, agreeing when I said things, piling on when I pointed at something, following whoever was loudest, and for a while that was me, and I did not handle it well, and people got hurt, and genres died, and I had to sit in a room and type out apologies to people who deserved better than what I gave them.
I think about the sailor, still out there, the water getting louder, the horizon still exactly as far away as it always was, and I think about the music, still playing somewhere, underneath everything, the beautiful thing that started all of this before the community formed around it, and the community started eating itself. And I think about how that kid had no idea, how he genuinely had no idea what any of this was going to turn into, or cost, or mean, how he would have kept going anyway, even if he did, because that is what you do when you find something that feels like yours. You hold on to it.
The sailor never reached the horizon, but he kept the promise. And maybe that was always the whole point.
Alright, W video. W video. What's going on? W. What? Alright, W. I'm gonna make a new live stream. Bye bye!